there, this is TheAnYPony and welcome to my review of Spike at your service. I'm afraid this will be another short one, so let's get a bit sidetracked and talk about Spike's role in the show in general and the previous Spike-focused episodes. Usually Spike is, despite the fact that he is a baby dragon, a very hard-working, faithful and surprisingly grounded character. More than once, he is the voice of reason when the adult ponies around him start losing perspective.
That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard! You're not gonna be sent back to magic kindergarten!
He is also extreme loyal. I was really surprised that he wasn't able to pull off the element of loyalty in Return of Harmony. I guess it must have been the other ponies' fault it didn't work. And he is helpful, with a tendency to being submissive. But often enough, it also shows that he is still a baby. He tires quickly, he lacks life experience, what makes him act naive often enough.
But I'm the one who gets to host the bachelor party! I have just one question. What's a bachelor party?
And he is just childish sometimes.
Then maybe you won't mind if I eat an entire tub of ice cream!
But to be honest, I like this mixture of adult and juvenile character traits. It makes Spike very interesting to watch and gives him some kind of intuitive wisdom. Being Twilight's assistant and Twilight being the show's lead protagonist, Spike gets a lot of screen time and characterization through his interaction with Twilight on a regular basis. No wonder he often gets credit for being the unofficial 7th member of the main 6. Wait, didn't I already describe the CMC this way? Horse apples, how many unofficial 7th members are there? Anyways, Spike also gets his very own episodes. In All's Well That Ends Well, Spike is confronted with his own insecurity and he makes a few very childlike choices. First he tries to hide a mistake he made, then he makes an effort to frame his alleged competitor, and finally he even runs away from home. But in the end he learned his lesson and hasn't shown this amount of insecurity ever again. Secret of My Excess. This is not particular about Spike's character development itself, but his nature as a dragon, which can be seen as a metaphor for the not-so-noble character traits everybody has inside them. Finally, Dragon Quest. That's one nerdy reference in the title I can appreciate. I am looking at you, sleepless in Ponyville. Even so, the title indicates even more dragon-related problems than the previous mentioned episode. It's quite the opposite. It's an all-out maturing and discovering who you are episode, with the final conclusion that Spike thinks of himself rather as a pony and less as a dragon. With all continuity established, let's check out Spike at your service. Spike seems a bit clumsy today. Not to say he's incapable of completing the simplest tasks. Isn't Spike normally in charge of the household chores in the library? And it is also established that he is quite a capable cook as well.
Wow! These cookies are delish! Spike made them.
Okay, it's supposed to be a funny episode. It's a kids show and kids think of that kind of random destruction as funny. But at the expense of changing the established characteristics of one of the main characters? No! Let's talk about something else than Spike's strange behavior. Timberwolves. So far, these mystical monsters only had one brief appearance in Family Appreciation Day. And as it is with most horrible creatures, they change pretty much when you put them into the spotlight. They get new weaknesses, like the fact that they can be literally taken to pieces, even with something simple as a rock. But also strengths, like the ability to put themselves magically back together after being dismantled. And of course, this new trick.
Switching to Megazord battle mode!
Right! Megazord sequence has been initiated.
But in the end, not even these entertaining gestures can hide the fact that the Timberwolf became pretty pathetic. One little stone thrown into the mouth and the Megawolf did not only get stunned, but falls completely apart. Literally. Again. While I'm on it, they are made out of wood. Spike can breathe fire. Just saying. Great. Feeling even more alienated now. Well then, back to Spike.
You saved my life! According to the Spike the Dragon Code, I owe you a life debt and must serve you.
What?
Now what about Twilight? Doesn't she need your help and such?
You're right. I better break the news to Twilight.
What? Stop it right there. Where do I even begin? Dragon Code? Where does this come from all of a sudden? And why does Twilight act like we should know about this?
This is Dragon Code we're talking about. Surely you know how important the Dragon Code is to a dragon.
It's a claw-drawn crayon picture. And even if I ignore the retcon of Spike's self-image as a dragon, what about all those other times some pony saved his life? He owns Twilight alone at least a few dozen lifetimes of service if this rule would actually be true. And what about his worst fear? The idea that Twilight would leave him frightened him to tears only 7 episodes ago. And now he is willing to simply leave her just because of some code of honor that was never mentioned before and makes him act all obsessed and weird? He is so out of character. Need to talk about something else. The main 6. Even so they all play rather small roles and aren't perfect in character themselves, they do not throw me off like Spike. Whenever this episode manages to entertain me, it is thanks to them. Rainbow vs. the Rock Tower, Pinky and Rarity acting terrified, Twilight getting snapped out of reading, not by screaming but a tiny bit of disorder. And how the hell does Rainbow manage to imitate a Timberwolf roar? Yes, those 6 are really entertaining in this episode. But to be honest, these enjoyable moments are too short and too few to make this episode work for me as a funny episode. The problem is that the character with the most screen time, Spike, acts weird and feels unnatural. As a consequence, I couldn't really enjoy most gags centered around him. For the same reasons, it also didn't work for me as a character episode about Spike either. Applejack got a better characterization out of this episode than Spike, as well as out of Apple Family Reunion while we're on this matter. The lesson Spike learns, don't act all crazy about a code you made up yourself, only works in the context of this very episode, because this Dragon Code thingy was never touched on before, except maybe indirectly in regards of the whole identity crisis in Dragon Quest. But the conclusion of this episode was that Spike does not care about this whole dragon thing anymore. So yeah, this episode is not exactly one of my favorites. Maybe it grows on me later on. And I am aware that a lot of people, including Paleo and BronyCurios, really likes this episode. And the interesting part is, I am in agreement with all those people. The renewed Timberwolves are interesting, the main 6 are pretty entertaining, and last but not least, clumsy Spike felt weird. But the latter just throw me off so much. Well, let's end this review on a positive note and watch a giant rock tower beat up Rainbow Dash. Or was it the other way around?
Bad news, he actually ended up building the whole rock tower. Good news, I've got a rock tower to knock down. You can do it! All right, yeah! That was awesome! Want to do it again, Rainbow Dash? Sure, why not?
This is the TheAnYPony saying see you soon.